Since this is all about theory and learning about simple devices, I am only asking you guys to highlight the content so that there is no practical reason of like writing huge notes down, because it's almost uh, theory questions, and once we get into the revision part we can obviously do the papers and then you can memorize it, but it's all about learning what the point is, what are these points. Perfect. So, yeah, any questions so far? Dinal, මොකද වුනේ week එකේ? How was the week? Yeah, you had sports meet or last week? Ah, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, you said you had it last week, no? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so yeah, so last week we actually came up to the GPS satellites part, where we discussed about the discussed why we need these GPS satellites and how it works and so on and so forth, right? Okay, so now, I saw a recent news where they say Apple is actually trying to work with a satellite company, Apple and Samsung both apparently. So they are trying to work with a satellite company so to enable direct communication through satellites. I'm not sure up to what extent they are trying to do that, but Apple does have this satellite connectivity in the phones. If the phone doesn't have signal, you can actually send a message through satellites. It doesn't work in Sri Lanka, obviously, but if you try to do this in states, it actually works. You can send direct satellite messages as well. Okay, so that's something special. Okay, and then next part. So I hope the GPS part is clear. Then we talk about home automation and smart assistance. Okay, so home automation is something very common nowadays. So example is I also have something. I have a air purifier at home. So here you guys should be able to see this. So this is the air purifier, and that is actually the uh, connected to the home Wi-Fi. Okay, so if I press the power button here, so if I press turn on, not sure whether yeah, okay, if I when I press turn on, see, it automatically turned on. Now it's technically cleaning up the air, so you can see the air quality. So this is the air quality in my room for the moment, that says it's good. Okay, so that is part of home automation. I can control whatever the automation process. Oh, sorry. What happened? Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah, okay. So I can actually control whatever the devices through my phone and my open software. So this actually allows you to communicate and work with multiple devices. So basically, these are also known as this. Some time ago, we got this new technology called IoT. Okay, so what happened was, um, pretty simple thing. People started connecting the internet to devices. Okay, so that became Internet of Things. IoT, Internet of Things. Okay, so this Internet of Things allowed people to do a lot of stuff, because as long as you have a PC, as long as you have a microcontroller which can process some content, some data, and a proper internet connection, just like that, you can perform different activities. So this air purifier, that also has a microcontroller which is also connected to the Wi-Fi. So whatever the settings or communication which I'm doing through the internet, that is getting saved there. So I know this is now, when I explain it, it's a bit, it can be a bit weird for you guys, but then again, I'm so lazy when I wake up. So my bed is, let's say, over here, and the air purifier is about 5 feet away, no, about 6 feet away. I'm still so lazy, I turn it off using the application. Without literally getting out from the bed, and I can go there, but still too lazy to do it. As well as this has been, I have got this into multiple occasions where I forgot to switch it off, and then halfway down the road I use the phone to switch off the air purifier. So smart automation is actually quite good. So let's see what are the type of so this, they do have different types of devices. So you have like multifunctional devices and sensors, devices with multiple sensors. And okay, what's the, you guys should know this, what is the home automation system offered by Google? Any clue? You all might have seen like videos of this. දැකලා තියෙනවද? Alexa is actually from Amazon.
Google Home.
Yeah, Google Home, but Google has this thing called Google Ring. Have you seen those videos, this porch pilots, where they come to your doorstep and steal your stuff and run? That is getting recorded in this camera called the Ring. Okay, so let me show you guys that one. So this is part of the Ring ecosystem. See, you can see all the automation devices. So these are like cameras. These are all cameras where you can actually place this in different locations, and see, it's waterproof also, and it works. So it connects to your phone and you can get the details out. See, if okay, kari horekkawa taggala hubena. It actually has a this thing also, like a alarm also. You can trigger the alarm if you want. See, you can actually get your pet to, you get weird situations also. අපිට ලංකාවේ නම් ඔය වගේ වෙන්නේ. You do get that type of weird situations also. So that is it. And then also we have the Samsung smart home. We have the Samsung smart home, which is known as Samsung Smart Things. See, now here this basically allows you to have multiple devices. So this is the Samsung model, and see the devices they can do. You can manage, you can check, you can track your dog, you can set your room temperature, and you can watch a video. Okay, so all these things are technically connected. See, you have smart bulbs, you have smart switches, you have hubs and sensors, and you have doorbells, smart plugs, and pet feeders. All these things are connected to the internet. Oh, smart plug එක මරු interesting point එකක්. Because now let's say you have some sort of a let's say an old device which you want to make it smart. Okay, let's say we have a habit of leaving the iron on when you try to iron some clothes. You plug it in, and normally most of the time you have a habit of leaving it on. So what you can do is you can buy one of these devices, one of these smart plugs, and plug it in. So you plug it here, and the next part is actually plugged into the wall socket. And what happens is you can control it through your phone. So if you are not sure that the iron is turned off, you can switch off this from your device itself. So that's the fun part. And also this home allows you to connect multiple devices. So example is if you use Alexa, you can ask Alexa to perform different activities. You can ask Alexa. So now even if you use Samsung, you can actually ask Samsung to turn on the lights or turn off the AC or turn the volume up or check whether the uh, washing machine has finished washing. All these options are there. Okay, clear neither. All good about the smartphone. Sorry, the smart home. Any questions? Okay, nice, perfect. Okay, so then the next is about this convergence word. Okay, so convergence, multifunctional devices, and convergence. What is the word? What's the my meaning of convergence? What the convergence කියන්නේ? Any examples? Convergence means like merging, like getting multiple things mixed together, right? ඔක්කොම කියන්නේ converge කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි දේවල් ගොඩක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ දේවල් ඔක්කොම ටික එකතු කරලා you can make one, right? So what happened was multifunctional devices and convergence. So ගොඩක් දේවල් devices which had multiple functions, it was converged into one. Okay, so just remember this point. Okay, so that's a good example for convergence. So what happened was all these technologies, devices which did multiple different actions, they all got together and that was converged into one particular device. Okay, so back in the day, when you want to take a picture, you need to come up with a camera. You need to find a camera basically. And when we had digital cameras, still that digital camera was not connected to a phone, right? So the phone has to be so the phone was a separate device and you had a digital camera, another device. So then what happened? People started merging these together. Okay, so not technically, yeah. So merged phones and cameras. Then what else? We had music players, MP3 players. MP3 players, we didn't. It was a separate item that was merged in. Now finally we have a fully fledged computer on our hand, right? On our mouse. So that's which is known as multifunctional devices. Okay, so ideally multifunctional devices have multiple different types of devices, different types of sensors and features inbuilt. Okay, so best example is if you take a a laptop or something like a tablet PC, something similar to this, that has almost 99% of all the features which is required by us to basically perform these activities. So this is the example which I told you. So we had a camera and we had the Walkman or the Discman, I can say, and then we had these phones and games. Everything basically got into smartphones and tablets. Now what happened was smartphone and tablet also got merged in together. Now we have a thing called a phablet. Phablet. I hope you guys saw the new Samsung S25 release trailer. So that phone is a thick, just a block with a display. So it's so huge. It's 6.9 inches. So like you literally need big hands to hold it. So but then again, that has all the features in it. So you have a full powerful computer plus internet, display, all the performance metrics you need, and everything comes in one package. Right? Okay, so that's the idea behind this whole technological convergence. Okay, so yeah, so Can you guys tell me another example? Convergence. So we talked about the mobile phone. Any other examples? Think about something else. It can be anything. It can be something which you find in your kitchen, or it can be something you find in your washrooms, or a device which has multiple features. What else? Tell me one example. Cool. We'll start with dinner. Kiyanna one example. Come on. You said you have one type of that device at your home. You told me last week.
Smart TV.
Smart. What? Smart?
Smart TV.
A smart TV. TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yes, yeah, that is also a technological convergence, right? Because we had the TV, which was like a dumb device which we had to plug in a antenna cable and both. And then if you wanted to watch a movie or something, you needed a separate movie player, a DVD player or something. And then you had to put it in, plug it into the TV, and all these things were there. But now how it works is it's just one device. It's connected to the internet and it works. Okay, we have another. Yeah, we have one. Can I one the two the? Yeah, can I get one more example? Yeah, hands up. Any? What do you think? One example. Do you guys use smartwatches? Yes. Yeah. So what are the features of a smartwatch? Come on.
They are like similar to the phones, actually.
Exactly. Yes. But what are the primary activities of a smartwatch?
Fitness tracking.
Fitness tracking. Correct. Yes. So how does it track the fitness? Have you all seen the sensors?
Headcount.
No. So I will just remove this and show it to you. So I have Apple Watch. See, behind the Apple Watch at the back, can you see some lights, right? So these are the sensors. Okay. So how it works is if I turn on the heart rate sensor, okay, see, it actually needs to detect my skin, then only the sensor will start to work. Hold on, na? Can you guys see the light? See that green color light? So that is how the sensor works. See, so it basically emits a light. And it tries to detect the blood pumping speed through the light. Okay, so that's how it detects the heart rate. So nowadays, okay, so if you go back almost about more than 15 years ago, we had to wear huge heart rate sensors. There was this heart rate sensor where you have to wear it on your chest, and you have to wear it up to a certain number of hours in order for you to get a correct reading. This thing basically reads my temperature, wrist temperature, and blood, the BPM, beats per minute, as well as it checks for my blood oxygen. It does everything from one small device. So be careful. You all had a question in the paper where you had a smartwatch displayed, and it asked what are the features of a smartwatch, or based on the technological convergence, what converged into this particular smartwatch. Okay, so remember the point, huh? So those are some examples. And also one more thing, kitchen example, keep this in mind as well. So nowadays all the latest microwave ovens, they actually come with induction cooking ability as well. So example is the microwave oven, you can actually bake a cake also. So it goes with both ways. Earlier you had the oven where you used to bake something as well as you use the microwave now. Now that is merged together. Now you have a smart microwave oven. Okay, so I do have a smart Samsung microwave at home. So ideally, if I connect it to this, there's some sort of app also, but I really don't want my microwave to have an app, and I'm not going to use my phone to microwave food. So, yeah, so that's not practical, but for a person who has a full ecosystem, then yes. Example is, let's say, if you are living inside a house with all Samsung products, you can literally put something in your microwave and let it cook and take your phone and go somewhere. And once it's getting ready, or once it's ready, you get a notification saying, hey, whatever you put in the microwave has cooked, and to come and collect it. Okay, so those are the typical features you get. Okay, so then yeah, so those are the that's the point when it comes to the multifunctional devices. So then we talk about, we talked about the features. So now I gave you guys few examples of features. So primarily, when it comes to this technology, like when the devices are converged into a couple of things, into a single device, the primary there's a certain set of factors which applies into the system, right? So primarily we have portability. Okay, so guys, can you highlight this particular point? So you have a point. So if you have the book, you can actually highlight it. Otherwise, it's better if you can actually take a small note. So when it comes to, so these are the points of, so this is basically the points behind converging devices. Okay, so or the pros and cons about converging devices. So number one is portability. So portability means the digital device that you use have number of so that is basically, give me 1 second, 1 minute. Yeah, so whatever the device you use, because it will basically have portability and performance and connectivity, because those three are the primary points. So when it comes to portability, please do highlight this point. So for a device to be portable, it needs to be easy to carry and move around, right? So that is how it becomes portable. Example is, the best example is the smartwatch. Okay, so earlier back in the day, if you want to get your BPM or get your heart rate, then the only option you had was to wear this huge set of sensors where it will basically read and give the heart rate. අපි ඔය ෆිල්ම්ස් වල දකින්නට ගිහිල්ලා මෙහෙම ගහලා තියෙන එකට sensors කොට ඒකෙන් ටික් 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 ගාලා එනවා. I'm like, even if you go to actual hospital, you can see that. So those are the actual heart rate monitors. But what happens is, when you get this in the watch, then that works in just simple single point, right? Okay, so then so that's about the portability. And then we also have the performance. So the performance means, technically, a device should perform their tasks very quickly, right? So ideally the speed of the device must be fast as well, and whatever the processor or the RAM or the memory which is going to be there will basically focus on that. Okay, so that means when it comes to the convergence, or when it comes to digital devices, we need to focus on performance as well. And then at the same time, digital devices should have some sort of a storage. Okay, So storage means it should be able to store some data. Example is now these Apple watches, they do have the capacity to store a certain number of data points, and it can actually analyze you. Okay, so it can detect the behavior also. Now example is I am actually using a application called Sleepwatch. So this literally keep an eye on my sleeping patterns, how my heart rate drops during my sleep, and so on and so forth. So when this is analyzed at a later stage, that's all data is stored on the device, and then it actually gives me a view saying on this particular day, after you do this particular action, your sleep was increased by X number of amount. Okay. Otherwise, so like days where I have gone to a party or gone to a dinner and was late to sleep in, that also this guy detects, and then it says, yeah, so on this particular day your sleep quality is low, and it asks what happened. Right? Likewise, so where do you store all those data? That has to be stored on the device, right? So that is where the storage comes in. Okay, so that's the storage, and we talked about the performance, and we talked about the portability. So these are the primary factors which a digital device must have. Okay, which has to be portable, right? Any questions before we jump in? Shape ne simple ne idea all good. Huh? Okay, then the next most important factor, the user interface. Okay, so the user interface is the next most important point, where how you will interact with the system. Okay, now going back very back, long time ago, like 1980s, before these operating systems were invented, like the GUI, graphical user interfaces were invented, what we had was something known as a command line interface. Okay, so what we had was known as the CLI. So a CLI is basically a small block which will basically allow you to start an application. Okay, so let me show you guys a quick video of okay, this is a very old video. This is a very old computer, so see how it starts. See, listen to the sound. Sorry. Okay, so that's how it starts. At this point, just try to hear if you can listen the sound of the hard disk. This red color, that red color thing down, that is the hard disk light. Can you hear that sound? Okay, so that was Windows 3.1. So yes, it was like very extremely long time ago when that was released, and like early, I mean, I think late 80s, I believe. So then after Windows 3.1 only we got the Windows 95 version. So my first computer had Windows 95. I have used Windows 3.1, but doesn't have a hands-on experience because I was like this small when Windows 3.1 was there. Okay, now you guys saw the command line, right? So when before the computer get booted up, you had that black screen. So that is technically you get the BIOS, and once the BIOS is executed, you jump into the command line, and the command line allows you to run commands. Simple as that, right? So those days we actually didn't had softwares installed on the machines. So the machine actually came raw without anything, and you got floppy disks. So these big disks. So you need to put a floppy diskette in, and then you need to run a specific command, which will then start the software, start the application. And all these applications were actually running on command line. And ලස්සන වැඩක් තියලා අපි still, this is a problem in Sri Lanka. Our banking system is still using command line software. Okay, if you go to a bank, this doesn't apply to you too, but others who are in Sri Lanka, if you go to a bank, slowly peek into one of those screens and see most of the banks are still using command line interfaces. I know, yes, it's way outdated, but still they are using software which came around 20 years ago. And they still use it. Okay, so up to the day, yes, command lines they do use. Okay, then inside the command line, what we have is something which is known as the menu driven interfaces. Okay, command line. Okay, command line, you guys got the idea of this, right? So if you get a question asking what is a command line, the question will be command line. When using a command line, user enters the text instructions instructions and the computer text instructions, and the computer system provides results for feedbacks as text. So it's basically a transaction between text and text. Okay, so then after that we have menu driven interfaces. Okay, so menu driven interfaces is these are type of interfaces that displays a list of options as a menu. So you get list of options as a menu, and you select the menu and then based on your selection, give me 1 second. Based on your selection, you would obviously trigger a command, okay, or display another menu with more options. So menu driven systems are actually the most common thing when it comes to command line interfaces, because you cannot type everything in. So what you do is you get a set of menus, and from those menus you select the item, right? And then once you select the item, automatically that item is opened up and it's getting displayed. Okay, so they are easier to use than command line interfaces because you don't have to type, but can take more time as you have to go through the menu structure each time you want to carry out a command. So you basically need to click down, or up, and select the particular menu item. Okay, so can you guys highlight this part? So menu driven interfaces. So this is a type of interface which displays a list of options as a menu. Okay. So if you are writing it down, write it down as menu driven interface is a type of interface that displays a list of options as a menu. Okay. And then you have the point where menu driven interfaces are easier to use than command line, but it can take more time. Okay. So you can highlight this part. So that's actually that's okay. Answer, do you have a printed book or you guys are looking at the digital copy?
We have the soft copy.
Soft copy. Okay, perfect. Yeah, in the soft copy also you can highlight. You can actually select the part and highlight. Or if you guys can get some printouts, yes, please try that out. So it will be easy to get the prints as well. Okay, all good. So I'll jump into the next big part, which is known as the graphical user interface. So technically, this is known as a GUI as well. So the GUI is what we use on day-to-day basis to interact with our computers, right? So the GUI is basically controlled by a pointer on the screen and uses a screen made up of windows, icons and menus. Okay, so basically we have the GUI, the graphical user interface, and here we have multiple different screens which will have different colors and icons and menus. So this will basically allow the user to interact with the system. So now GUIs are almost common. Nowadays we do have what do you call it? This kiosks. We do have kiosks as well, where you can actually go there and interact with computers and get things done, right? So I saw recently there was a video from Wendy's. So we don't have Wendy's in Sri Lanka, but we do have Wendy's is a US chain, something similar to McDonald's. So Wendy's has recently added a robot AI to get the drive-through orders. So basically, when you go to the drive the car, you have a screen, and in that screen, all you need to do is just ask for there's a voice prompt. So the prompt asks, what do you want to buy? And you can communicate, right? So all of these are possible because of user interfaces, right? Because the computer is basically showing something which then you can interact with the system. By using it, you can interact with the system. So there are a few points. So guys, please do highlight all these 3 points because you do get questions about what is a graphical interface and what are the features of it. So basically, graphical interface is a user interface controlled by a pointer on the screen and user screen made up of windows and icons and menus. So you can basically write this part up, down, or highlight this, then that's perfectly fine. Then we have this point where we talk about windows. So when it comes to a window, windows are areas of screens that are technically dedicated to applications or operating system tasks. So basically we can open multiple windows. So when you open multiple windows, that means those windows will have its own dedicated tasks, right? Then icons and small images that represents the applications. Then they can be selected with the pointer. I know this is like very, very simple. You guys know how to use a GUI, but keep an eye out for the specific keywords because in the exam, you guys are getting these tricky questions where I know it's so easy, but when you want to write the answer, when you have to write the answer, you need to make sure that you follow these keywords. So if the keywords are not there, then there's going to be a small problem because most of the time, the the person who is marking the paper, they will be looking for the keywords, not about how you have done it and your explanation and so on and so forth. Okay, so you just need to be careful in that part. So now this is the typical interface we have, and I hope it's clear. Then we have voice interfaces. Nowadays we are actually interacting with a lot of voice interfaces, mainly ChatGPT. Do you guys use ChatGPT on your phones? I
Yes,
showed
sir.
you guys. Yeah, so you can actually take screenshots and Mehmai, I'm not against of AI. Yeah, no way. I'm always encouraging students to use AI, but use it to learn. Don't use it to cheat. I mean, no, don't use it to cheat your homework. Use it to learn something new, because then that would basically help you to learn stuff very fast. Because going back like early 2000s while I was schooling, it was really hard for us to learn because we had to go through books. I mean, while I was in the university, it was so hard for us to go through it because every small point you have to read it from a book. Search කරන්න Google නෑ. අහන්න ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. We don't have digital materials, so the only thing was the books. So we had to go into libraries and go through it. Now, just one word. You ask him one something, he explains it, and then done. So it's really easy to learn. Okay. So yeah, voice interfaces. So voice interfaces basically, what it does is, a voice interface allows the user to give spoken commands to a device. Okay. Please do highlight this part, the first point. So this is what the voice interface is. Okay. So the device has some sort of a voice recognition software. Obviously, that's how it's going to work on. And it will basically match spoken words against a library of words to find a match. Okay, so this voice recognition, that's a that's a that's a big topic when it comes to research, because people research a lot in order to build voice models. So example is now, depending on our accents. Now, for us, for Sri Lankan people, we don't actually have an accent, so it's actually quite good because the way we speak or pronounce words are actually quite clear. But if you take different countries like India and Australia and US and so on and so forth, then that's a problem, right? Because they do have their weird accents. Sometimes they just like, if you want to tell 5 words, they tell only 2-3 words and they kind of drop half off. So in those type of things, it's really hard for a system to identify it. So what you do is you build a full data set and then you match it with that data set. So example is all the big languages like English, Chinese, French, Dutch. I think Hindi is also there. Hindi and Tamil. All these languages are already indexed. So it technically works. Okay. So that's how these interfaces works. Now, this is where things comes into the interesting point, because now earlier, okay, I can't remember the exact date, but when this voice narration was released, that was, I think, with Windows Office 98. I can't remember the exact Office version. We were like really amazed to see that features, because that actually gave us the option to just speak to Word and just it gave the option just to speak to Word, and Word basically typed everything down. Okay, so that was back then, but now the voice recognition has been improved a lot, where now this voice recognition can be processed from online services such as cloud services like Amazon and Google, and so on and so forth. So what they do is they have actually added these voice interfaces into the devices so that now you can do stuff hands-free. Now technically you can actually talk with your car even. So if you have a Mercedes, you can say, "Hey Mercedes," and it will basically open up a window and you can talk with it. But it doesn't work very perfectly because I think Mercedes has a small issue with our accent. I think because the German foreign accents but up to a certain extent it works. Okay, so then that's about voice interfaces. Then we have gesture interfaces. So gestures basically hand gestures, and you can do a lot of activities using these gesture interfaces. So it's mainly, this is an interface where it will allow the users to control or swipe or make some sort of action to perform something which is in which relates into the system. Example is I hope you guys have seen virtual reality headsets, VR headsets, such as Apple or the Apple Apple virtual headset or
Apple Vision Pro.
Vision Pro, yes. Yeah, either the Vision Pro or the headset from Meta, the Meta Quest. So all these things, they actually use hand gestures. So Apple has a certain set of sensors where you can literally use your hands and you can just do something like this to increase volume and do some weird stuff. Actions are there. But the Meta Quest, they are actually using two handheld devices where you have to hold on to it, and when you move it, your action is actually detected. So it gets converted back into data. Okay, so gesture interfaces. So please do highlight this part. This type of interface allows the user. So if you highlight this part, that is also enough. Allows the user to control the device by swiping their finger or fingers across the screen. Okay, or any sort of a action. So this can be on a screen or this can be on some sort of a device. So in this case we can just say screen. Okay, so just keep in mind I told you about the VR thing because that's also something which you guys can write as an answer. Hari, is it good? Any questions? Shape? All good? Okay, nice. Okay, perfect. So yeah, if you have any questions, ask me. Yeah, just feel free to stop the class at any point and just ask the question. I'll be more than glad to help. Okay, and also one more thing, I do have a big background of hardware and like different types of hardware systems and softwares also. So if you want to learn something specific, just ask me the question and I'll more than glad to help explain it. Okay, so I'm just sticking with what is there in the syllabus, so I'm not going very in depth. But if you want, yes, I can go and explain as well. Sorry. Nice. Then we jump into connectivity. Okay, so when it comes to digital devices, if the device doesn't have any sort of a connection method of connecting, then it doesn't matter, right? You won't be able to get anything done because if the device doesn't have a connectivity feature. So why now? Okay, back in the day when we had computers, I mean late 90s or early 2000s, we did not had the internet. Okay, so no internet was there. We had something close to an internet, but it wasn't that much active. So we didn't had this type of interactions and systems and web pages and so on and so forth. So now connectivity is one of the most crucial things, right? Okay, so all of you guys, if you get a phone or a device without an internet connection, what will happen? Technically, you all will be lost now. So no connection, nothing, right? Okay, that means you know the value of connectivity, right? Yes. So now, mainly all devices should be connected, as well as these connectivity will give you some features. Now, example is will give you features for networking, so that you can share content and interact with devices and other people, as well as you get the option to update software, backup files, download files, play media from one device to another. And different types of connectivity types provides different types of speed and data, as well as different levels of convenience. Okay, so please do highlight this point. So devices can share data by connecting to each other using wired or wireless connectivity. Okay, so you do get questions asking what is connectivity, or why does a device need connectivity. Okay, so then for the second question, why does a new device need connectivity, you can say connectivity can be used to update software, backup files, or play media from one device on another. Okay, so please do highlight these points. And when it comes to the, yeah, okay, so then the different connectivity types provide different types of different speeds of data transfer and level of convenience. So when we say different connectivity types, there's, can I get some examples? Okay, so what can you connect to your phone? What type of things can you connect to your phone?
Earphones?
Earphones, perfect. That is wired or wireless?
Both?
Both, perfect. How can you connect wired earphones to your phone? You have a iPhone 11, right?
13.
13. බොරු කියන්න එපා. wired ගහන්න බෑ. ඕකට එනං අර you have to use the converter. You have a converter with you?
No.
Not the converter? Yeah,
Android.
yeah. You have an iPod? No, what did you say?
So I had a converter.
You had a converter. Okay. Yes, yeah. You can, either you will have to go with the converter, or you will have to use the AirPods, right? Wireless. So that is one way. Okay, so apart from that, what else do you connect to your iPhone? මොනවද connect කරන්නේ? මොනවද connect කරන්න පුළුවන්? What type of devices can you connect? What do you think? මොනවද දාන්න පුළුවන්? Ethan, what do you connect to an iPhone? iPhone or Android, whatever the device, what do you connect? What can you connect නැත්තම්?
What? Yeah. Earbuds?
Yes, headsets and earpods, yes. But okay, so අපි මෙහෙම හිතන්නකෝ. So let's say you connect a Bluetooth speaker, then that means that's a different type of connectivity, right? So you connect through Bluetooth. Or if you connect to Wi-Fi, then that's another different type of connectivity, because you connect to Wi-Fi because you need to connect to the internet, right? And then again, let's say what's the answer? What's the device you use? Do you have a phone?
Yeah,
What's the device?
iPhone 11.
iPhone 11. So both of you have iPhones?
No, I have Samsung.
Okay. That's a whole different day. Okay. So, but Samsung and iPhone, that's a bit hard for data transferring. Okay. So how do you share a picture?
I WhatsApp it.
WhatsApp it. Okay. Good. Okay. What I was going to tell was now in iOS, if you have two iPhone devices, you can actually connect your iPhone, sorry, send it through AirDrop. So that also works. And also, nowadays, the new devices, they actually support another thing. Does it work? Yeah. So it basically detects the device. Now, example is now you have a 13 Pro, so I think I can share it with you. So if you want to get my contact details, all I need to do is I just need to show my phone watch, and you can do it like this. So this is the device. You can actually close up the watch and see on the watch itself, it shows a connectivity. See.
You can do the phone. You can put the phone together and do it
Phone,
too,
yes, exactly. Phone to phone also can be done. This is watch to watch. And if I get the phone near the watch, uh, will it work? It should work. Hold on. It usually takes it, but I think since I'm trying to use my own watch with my own phone, it's secretly asking me, I'm are you crazy? Because I can share my contact details with the watch and a phone with my device. But if I meet someone else, all I need to do is tap the watch or tap the phone. And you can easily share your pictures as well. So all you need to do is take the picture, put into AirDrop mode, and tap the phone. Okay. So the reason I explained those things was like that's because there are different types of communications. So communication mediums. So based on this connectivity medium, you get different things done. Okay. So if you get some sort of a point to write about this, then yes. And we will actually get in depth once we jump to the second unit. So we talk about different types of connectivity, networking, and so on and so forth. Okay, then media support. So media support. This is also one specific point when it comes to devices. So, what type of media does? Okay, let me ask a question from Dina since you have a smart TV. What type of media does the smart TV support?
Netflix.
You know,
Prime,
no, wrong. Hold on.
Yeah.
What type of media means what type of media can you play in the smart TV? You can plug in a pen drive and play something in your smart TV. What type of media? Haven't you tried it? Okay. Who else have tried it? Anyone? Okay. So it's actually something which you can easily do. So in your smart TV, check for the USB port. So behind at the back, you should have a USB port in it. So you can plug in a pen drive with certain types of videos, let's say AVI, MP3, MP4, MP3, all these type of media types, it does work. And then once you plug it in, you can go to the TV's media player. So it depends. So some TVs has their own media player. Now I had a LG smart TV some time back. LG had its own LG media player, and now I am using a Samsung TCL with the Android operating system that has a VLC player. So where you can actually go and play. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, so media support. Media support means, in technical terms, media support means different devices which can read different types of media, right? So example is now back in the day we had cassettes, and we didn't had cassette devices where you can read it. But then again, now after CDs came out, we had CD players and CD docking stations and stuff, where you can actually put a CD and get the data out of it. Okay, so how it works is back in the day, if the device didn't had any sort of a medium like a reader, then that's actually a big problem. So good example, in early 2000s, if you had a PC without a CD-ROM, you're done because no internet. So the only medium we had of getting some entertainment was through CDs. So we had video CDs, and after some time we got DVDs, and that was the only medium of getting some entertainment. Okay, so here what we say is like this. So if you guys can please do highlight this part. So when it comes to media, different devices can read data from and write data to different types of media. Okay, now you should be able to read and you should be able to write. And Dinal, your TV should have the option to save screenshots also. TV Samara TV sir, you can record also. Like record a TV show and that literally gets recorded. Okay, so those are all points. So then now after that there has to be some sort of a media support. So if the device can add a memory card or an SD card or a flash memory card, you can actually write the data into the memory card itself. Then that would be the easiest way of saving it. Okay, so vocabulary wise, this is the point. So media items such as memory cards and CD-ROMs that make information available to people and devices. So here when we say media items, these are like typical memory cards and devices. Okay, so then then we talked about the connectivity media support. Then we talk about the energy consumption. Okay, so obviously any device, it needs energy, so it needs electricity to work, and the lower the consumption of the energy is the better, right? Because now example is if your laptop battery can last a long time, right? So that means if it to last a long time, that means the energy consumption should be less or low, right? Because otherwise it will drain out very fast, right? So that means in order to increase the battery life or the battery percentage, that means we have to improve the processing and the system, right? And what's the next point is the primary issue is the rising cost of electricity and the energy. Nowadays, even in Sri Lanka, the energy prices are high, right? So that means energy consumption is one of the most important things. මට තාම තේරෙන්නේ නැති point එකක් තියෙනවා මේ in Sri Lanka people buy Teslas and all these electric cars. They still do buy it. No, okay, Dina, you know what? Now I know I also drive a Jeep and all, so it doesn't do that much of good. It doesn't have a good fuel economy. But then again, tomorrow morning, if the vehicle doesn't start up, I can do at least something, right? I can lift the hood up and look at the engine and do something. Oh, බැරිම නම් කොහේ හරි ගිහලා බාස් කෙනෙක් හරි කතා කරන් ඇවිල්ලා මෙන්න මේක හදපන් කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්. But think if you have a Tesla and tomorrow morning you want to go out and you go there and press the button and nothing happens. දැන් මොකද කරන්නේ? පාරුට ගිහලා බාස්ට කතා කරලා කියන්න බෑනේ මචං මේක පොඩ්ඩක් ගන්න හදලා දෙන්න කියලා ඌ ඇවිල්ලා තව ටිකක් ඌ ගිනි තියනවා. Nobody knows how to repair those type of vehicles, right? So that's the problem. So in Sri Lanka that's a massive problem. So I still don't understand why people actually buy it. But now there are some companies who does sell electric cars with a warranty, right? කවුද මේ BYD කියන්නේ BYD is exactly. Yeah, so BYD, since it's being backed by Keels, I think they should be giving out a good support. No idea, but I need to check that sometime. Hari, okay, then so that's about the energy consumption. So now, yeah, so let's actually highlight few points. So digital devices require electricity to work. So this is one point, okay. And the next point is, since we are focusing and yeah, of course, work, and I think it's better to highlight the whole thing. So one benefit of low energy consumption is uh, mobile devices is a long battery life. So due to the rising cost of energy and pressure from the customers and governments to be more environmental responsible, so this part would be more than enough. So this energy, so I'll show you guys a quick video about energy, how large companies tackle this situation. Okay, so let me Apple. This is how large companies tackle the situation. Hold on. Okay, so I know it's a very bold claim that they say that they are going to go 100% carbon neutral. So it's good. That's actually quite good. So yeah, now you guys can get an idea why energy consumption is important, because ideally if this goes out of hand, that means we are technically losing this earth, right? So that means energy consumption has to be extremely monitored, and something which we'll have to talk about when we jump into sustainability. Okay, so this video, I think you guys will again see this, this video when we go to sustainability, because you'll have to keep these points in mind. Okay, so then after energy, we do have a few set of features. Quickly go through this. So expansions. So expansion capability. So now technically, the device should be able to have the feature of expansion or expandability of some sort of a specific point. Example is if you take a PC, a PC allows you to add multiple components into it, right? So you can actually expand the devices which you have plugged in into the device. So example is now you don't have expansion slots in most of the like most of the small devices, okay, but if you take a laptop, yes, it has a certain capacity of expanding, right? So you can add you can increase the number of RAM and so on and so forth. And if you guys can remember, the older phones, they did had expansion capacity, where you can actually add a memory chip and expand the storage of it, right? Okay, so I think Yehansa is the one who said you have an Android, right? No. Okay. So yeah. So your Android, is it the memory? Is it fixed, or can you expand the memory?
I can expand it.
You can expand it. Okay. What's the model again? Sorry.
Samsung Note 20.
Note 12. Note 20. Note 20. Ah, okay. Yeah, I think the Note after the 20 Note 20 something they remove the expansion card, right? Yes. That's good. Yeah. Why do, okay, good question. Why do they remove it? Why do they remove the expansion capability? Can you guess? Simple point. Harima simple point. Why? Okay, so I'll ask this in a different way. So, Ehansa, what is your iPhone storage?
I can't remember.
Okay, but what happens if it runs out?
I give more.
You what? You get more? How? Okay, I'll ask this from Dinar. Dinar, what will happen if your iPhone runs out of storage?
Um, delete the unwanted things that.
You will have to delete it, right? Yeah. So now,
Yeah.
when it comes to this uh, heavy users, storage is one of the most crucial pain points because now for me also I had that point because I do use my iPhone for recording. So I was using a 128 iPhone before, but the space runs out very fast. So then this time I bought the 256 model. But now also I feel that this is also not enough when you start recording videos. So that is how these guys earn. So just think if the iPhone had an extension where I can put a memory slot, I can put a memory card, then I wouldn't pay extra for the storage. That's how they earn. So they basically Samsung also බැලුවා හරියන්නේ iPhone දෙන්නේ අපිත් දෙන්නේ අපිත් ගලවනවා. Samsung also removed the feature. So now you can't expand the storage. The only way for you to, if you need more storage, either you buy a new phone or you have to just delete something as Dinar said. But then again, may හැමදේම delete කරන්න බැහැ. There are things you can delete, but some you have to preserve at some point, right? Yeah, so that's the thing. Okay, so the expansion capability is really important in that particular, as per se, in that particular type of applications. And then security features. So software security is also a point. So you need to have a certain set of security features which will have in the device. Okay, let's jump in and see what are the features. So before that, any questions so far? All good? Okay, so what are the type of security features you have on an iPhone? Sorry, on a phone or on a device? මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? You have the face recognition, right? You can face unlock it, as well as I think most of the Android devices they do have the under screen fingerprint sensor also, right? Plus whatever said and done, you will still have a pin code also, right? And on top of all these things, you would also log into your phone using a username and a password, right? Just think of it now. So if you take an iPhone, you log in using your iCloud account, and then you put a PIN number as well as you scan your face. So there are 3 levels of different security features which will basically protect your device. Okay, yeah. So please do highlight this part. So software security. So software security is basically the requirement behind software security is to prevent unauthorized access to data. Access to data. Digital devices have a range of software security features to ensure the person trying to use the device is allowed to do so. Or you can, if you are writing this, you can write it as to ensure that the owner of the device is verified, or it's actually the actual owner. Okay, so there are different types of software. There are different types of software security. Okay, now Apple has its own different types of security where it locks things, as well as Dinal, have you set up the Find My iPhone feature?
Don't.
Okay, so you can set it up. You know that, right? So if you set it up, you actually get some features. You can. So example is now if somebody steals. So these are all my devices, by the way. I have a set of set of Apple devices. So if I select one of the devices, let's say if I select my laptop, okay. So I have selected this is my laptop. So currently it's in my office with me. Not this one, a smaller laptop. See, I have the option called erase. It's not clear, ne? Can you see it? Erase device. So I have set it up in a way because technically speaking, this device it is connected to my iCloud account. So it has access to all my banking information, our company servers and all the details. Okay, so technically it's a risk. So if by any chance if somebody steals it, I can remotely erase it. So immediately when I trigger this off, just like that, all data will be erased. So even if somebody steals it, I can rest assured, yeah, I'll be obviously upset because I'll have to buy another one. That's a whole different story. But then again, I can rest assured that the data will not get shared. All my pictures, my libraries, images, videos, and so on and so forth. Okay. So these are the types of security locks which you will get based on the security features. Okay. So technically, you will be using PIN numbers and different types of mechanisms to control this. So yeah, so you guys already know these things. So technically devices have multiple different types of sensors. So some devices use biometric scanners, such as the Apple's Touch ID, which basically had the version to unlock stuff, as well as you have some other way of drawing a pattern like this. So these devices had the pattern recognition part, as well as now some devices. Now we talked about mobiles and tablets, but some devices they do have a specific type of physical security as well. So physical security is something which you will basically lock and try to block out a specific device. So these security slots, you do have like many devices, they do have a security slot in it where you can actually connect plug in a cable and lock the device out. Okay, so here you can see actually an example of this type of locking, which is known as a Kingston security key lock. Okay, so this Kingston locks, I think if you guys are using laptops, just check on the side of the laptop. You might see a small පොඩි නිකන් මෙහෙම හතරස් කොටුවක් තියෙනවා. Sorry?
Does normal laptops also have this?
Almost yes. මෙහෙමයි. If you take a very, let's say, if it is an entry-level normal laptop, then no. But all these Lenovo, Dell, and all these company like corporate type of laptop, business laptops, they do come with it. Because this was some time back while I was working in the corporate industry. So at that particular company, I had an official laptop, Dell laptop, and when you go to the office, literally you have to lock the device onto your table. So the table actually has one of these cables, and you have to take the cable and you have to plug it into the laptop and you have to lock it. I know nobody is going to take your laptop inside the office, but according to the security standard, you have to keep that locked. Okay, so
What is it doing, sir?
sorry?
What is it doing?
Maybe this is like a. Have you seen the bicycle lock? අපි ටයර් එකට දාලා lock කරන්නේ. අන්න ඒ වගේ cable එකක්. That's it. laptop එකේ චූටි opening එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකට මෙහෙම දාලා මෙහෙම කරලා lock වෙනවා. That's it. ඊට පස්සේ this has a long metal cable so that nobody can steal your laptop. that's the reason we have this lock. Okay then. Any questions? All good.
No, sir.
Okay. So please do highlight this part as well. So physical security. So physical security is to prevent theft and physical security to prevent theft is also important, and many devices use security slots which can have locks attached to secure them to furniture. When the main highlight if somebody asks about, if you get a question about what is physical security, then this would be the particular answer. Keep that highlighted, then that's all good. Okay. Nice. Okay. Then, yeah, hold on. No? අපි දැන් යනවා මේ තියෙන හරිම ඔයගොල්ලෝ හොඳටම දන්න දේවල් ටිකකට. So I'm just going to jump through it because I think you might have learned this multiple times. Yeah, you might have learned this many times. Yes. So yeah, Ethan, I just saw your message. So can it be done in a smart TV? What do you mean by the smart TV? Sorry.
The screen recording thing. Screen recording.
Yes. Yes. Me screen recording if you have a smart TV which runs Android, then yes. So
LG announced it.
LG has the feature to take screenshots. Screenshots ගන්න පුළුවන්. I haven't. So I had a very old LG TV that didn't have the feature to record. But I bought a new TCL TV which is running an Android that has the feature to screen record. TCL I bought a TCL with Android TV OS. Nothing compared to LG. Yeah? So the usability and all, it has so many features. You can install software and all, but the usability and that mouse, that magic mouse thing, or not the magic mouse, what do you call it? Mouse. That feature you don't get it. What is it?
With the mouse, right?
Yes, yeah, you can basically control the wand like the mouse like a wand. So using the remote. Okay, so guys, let's quickly jump through this and we'll finish this up because this is something which you guys already know. So input, output, and storage devices. Okay. So what is input, output, and storage? Primarily, we do have a certain set of input devices. So we have keyboards. So I hope everybody know what is a keyboard. Right? So the keyboard is basically the device which we use to enter some data, right? So when you press information in it, that will let you interact with the software or the application which you want, right? So keyboards basically have multiple different types of keyboards. You have small keyboards and you have full size keyboards, as well as there are different types of keyboards as well, where like you have buttons, mechanical keyboards, membrane keyboards, and so on and so forth. But whatever said and done, ultimately what happens is you press a button and that will execute a command, right? So you can have a combination of key presses which will basically let the user interact and perform different activities on the system. So then, so keyboards are there, And then we have pointing devices. So pointing devices, mouse, right? Like mice and trackballs. So what they do is they all do this, perform the same action. So pointing devices, a pointer is used on a screen to select displayed objects, right? There are several types of devices that allow you to control a pointer. Obviously we'll be going through this, but if you can highlight this particular part. So you do get questions what is asking what is a pointing device. So if you get the question, then straightforward the answer is a pointer is used on a screen to select displayed objects. Okay, so these are the types of hardware. We have the mouse, obviously it has a couple of buttons where when you move it or when you move the mouse physically, the cursor starts moving. Then we have the trackball. So these trackballs are actually small ball a small ball which will be connected to a sensor, and it will let you move your mouse in specific ways which will indirectly move the pointer. Okay, so directly connected to the pointer, and which will make that change. So you basically allow to you get the option to interact with the system. Otherwise, the next most common thing is trackpad. So right now even I am using my phone as a trackpad, which technically I used to control my MacBook's mouse using the phone's trackpad. Okay, so trackpads are the most common type of pointing devices which we have right now, which is which allows you to move your finger across a particular surface, and when the touch sensor is censored, then that would get converted into electricity, and you get the option of getting the cursor moved. Okay, then the fun part, joysticks. So we do call them game pads as well. So your joysticks කියන එක හරි පරණ වචනයක්, but be careful, people still use it. So joysticks are the technical term for this, but nowadays we call them gamepad. And what else?
Controller.
Huh?
Controllers?
We call it controllers, no? Yeah. However, controller කිව්වට ideally it's still it needs to have some part to it. Like it should have something like a game controller, or if we normally what we say is we say PlayStation controller, right? PS4 controller likewise. But in an ideal scenario, this is known as a joystick. So joysticks are commonly used on games and as game controllers, where you will be using to move some sort of a character or a sprite around the game or around the system. Okay, so basically you use it to move some on-screen graphics in a computer or a gaming console so that you can interact with it. Then you get the graphic tablet. So the graphic tablet is joystick, and then we have the graphic tablet. So the graphic tablet is almost a similar thing compared to the touchpad, but what it does is it basically gives you a view, a flat surface with a stylus, so that you can actually write on it. So when you write on it, ideally what happens is you basically move the cursor. Nothing special. But the thing is you can precisely move that. Okay, that's how it works. Hari, any questions? All good? I just want to run through this because this is just some set of simple stuff we know. Okay, then scanners. Okay, so there are a couple of types of scanners where we call it as OCR and OMR. Okay, so let's see what these are. So we have the OMR scanner, which is known as optical mark recognition. Okay, so these type of scanners are basically used for software which will detect a specific mark on a document. Okay, so these OMR scanners are the type of scanners which will be used to mark papers. Okay, so when you get this type of MCQ, this type of MCQ, the scanner can actually detect these small dots and automatically give you a feedback of what has been what is I mean sorry what is marked and what is unmarked. Okay, so you get that feature, so that's going to be quite easy to handle. And OCR is something different, where this will basically work as an optical character recognition, which will then recognize characters on a specific paper or device. Okay, so then we have the barcode. Okay, so barcodes, everybody must have seen a barcode. So don't say you haven't seen a barcode. If you haven't seen a barcode, go to a convenience store and look at the POS counter, then you will see a barcode. Okay, because barcodes are the ones you scan in order to interact with the product and to get the pricing, right? So there are a couple of types of barcodes. So barcodes, what they do is they do have the option of having a certain set of lines. Okay, and then in those lines, what it does is it will basically check for the details. So example is, so there are two types of barcodes. So we do have this thing called a linear barcode, and we have another thing called the matrix barcode. Okay, so what it does is, so if you take the matrix barcode, this is known as the QR code. All things is the QR, right? Okay, so now there are newer than the linear barcode. Obviously, the QR is the new type of barcodes which we have, and that allows you to get some content. Okay, so let me show you something interesting when it comes to these linear barcodes. So do you guys know that you can actually create barcodes? Okay, cool. Hold on. Okay, there's this webs. So online, just search for something as create QR. Okay, so just on Google you can search as create QR online, and you have some QR generators. Okay, so let's go to something like this and accept all cookies. I don't want to log in. Okay, see what type of, so this QR is actually quite, in your syllabus we don't have into this step, but I'm just showing you guys to, since this is interesting, y'all can actually share this. So in the QR there are certain types of QR codes which our devices can identify. Okay, now example is let me take a URL. Okay, so, and let me put something like this: http www.google.com. Hi, can you guys try scanning this? මොකද එන්න බං scan කළ. it will directly take you to Google, right? It works. Yes. Okay, so that is the type of URL. Okay, I'll just put this on chat just for your reference. Cool. Okay, now apart from that, you can actually create Facebook buttons also. So you can create a Facebook page. If you have a Facebook page, you can actually promote your page and you can create it. As well as if I take something like this, generate QR code, and let me try scanning this. yeah, if you scan this, then it should ideally take you to my LinkedIn, sorry, my Twitter profile. Okay, there are some features. So you do have the email feature, as well as this is how we share vCard. Okay, so let me fill some information. So let me put something like this. Okay. Now contact, I'll put plus. This also I put plus. Country, we'll put Sri Lanka, and state, Western Province. Hi. Okay. Let's say generate QR code. Make a scan कर लबा पैरा करा इधर. Can you scan it? It's not working.
Okay.
Okay, let me try to increase the size. Then now it should be able to.
Yes, sir.
What happened? You got my contact request, right? That's how you put your contact details on your visiting cards. ඔය visiting cards වල තියෙන චුටි චුටි QR codes දාලා this you can, so you can just take this code and you can paste it on your visiting card, and when somebody wants to download it, when somebody asks for your contact, you can just ask them to scan it, and that's it. Right? So you get all these details out directly from this. Okay, so that's a brief about. Okay, hold on, I'll switch the camera. Yeah, that's a small brief about what type of things you can store in a QR. Okay, so the QR has a certain number of data points, so you can actually store a lot of a certain set of data in it. So in this case, you guys saw like how much data I added into the form, and everything was actually saved, right? Okay, so then okay, 1 second, we have how many points are there? Still there's a lot to go, right? Yeah, we'll just do another 2 or 3 and then we can call it a day. So it's okay, but I'm just going as fast as possible. Am I too fast? No, right? It's okay. Yeah, because these are like mainly these are things you need to know. That's why I'm not asking you to take it in notes as well. But when we do the papers, then you can actually see how it works, because it's really something straightforward. Okay, so let's talk about few more items, and then we can wrap it up. So yes, webcams. So webcams, you guys obviously know what is a webcam is. So webcams, they are like technically a digital camera, but with lower quality, so that you can stream or use it on a device, on a laptop or a computer. That's the definition, which is in the book. But in real time, nowadays webcams are totally different. So now I'm also using a camera, but this thing can record up to 4K 60 frames. So that's why this whole quality is there, right? So there are different types of webcams, but the ideal definition of a webcam is a camera, like a specialized camera, that are cameras that generally have low quality output, so that it will be quite easy to stream. Okay. Now, depending on different purposes, we do have different types of cameras. So here I'm using a heavy like a high-end Sony camera, but now when it comes to conference cameras, there are like cameras who basically looks at the faces, and when you start speaking, the camera automatically focuses on you. There are type cameras like that, as well as there's a wide-angle web cameras where you can actually show, like record a full conference room, and then those are high quality, so when you start speaking it will automatically zoom to your position. Okay, so there are cameras like that as well. Okay, so any questions about this? Okay, nice. Yeah, guys, shall we wrap up at this point then? මට පේන ඔක්කොමලා හරි මහන්සි වගේ. Okay, so I do have something to ask from you guys. So I need to check with Guru Niwasa as well, because now I have a class which is starting at 4 o'clock and which ends at 6. A class from 4 to 6. But the thing is, I am not currently doing that class until June. So we have the option of moving this particular class into the 8 to, so if I move my previous class from 6 to 8 to the previous slot 4 to 6, then that means we can move this class to 8 to 6. So that means we start 2 hours early. So I'll send a message on the WhatsApp group. So please do respond, and based on your responses, we'll see how we can adjust it. So I do have the time slot change. Okay. So I'm just suggesting this because of these two guys, Sehansa and because it's like very extremely late for them, because they're like, I think, how many hours are you in front? 3 hours. 3 hours, yes. Okay, so now it's almost 1 o'clock, right? Yes, that's the
1:30.
1:30. Okay. Good morning, by the way. Okay, so we'll try to adjust it like that, so then it will be easy for you all as well. So let's see how it goes. Okay, thanks. Any questions? All good? So I'll be uploading this video to the LMS as well as the my YouTube channel. So I'll share the links with you guys so y'all can access. Okay, perfect. All good then. Nice. Thanks for joining the class. We'll catch you back next week.
Thank you, sir.
See you.
Goodbye,
See you.
sir.
Good
Thank
night.
you, sir.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Bye.
Hi, sir. Thank you. Good
See
day.
you. See you. Good night.